before Hurd comes in, it's not too long after the sale with Turner happens that Dusty essentially goes into business for himself. They had an edict from Turner, no gore, no blood on TV, and he does his famous Road Warrior spike angle, and as a result, he's called in, removed from his creative post, and a few months later, he's headed for Vince. Did Dusty not want to work for Turner?
Dusty thought he was going to be the queen bee.
Yeah.
And yeah, he did the blood and got called in, and I got called in, but yeah, no, did he? Yeah, he thought he was going to run the show and make movies, and the whole ball of wax.
What was your relationship like with Dusty at that time?
We got towards the end, we didn't even speak. I mean, there was no relationship there.
What was that based in? Where did that come from? Financial stress?
Yeah, I guess. And how can I tell him to do something or not do something when I'm not going to be the boss tomorrow? And I think that had a lot to do with it. He didn't know who was in charge anymore.
Critics from the outside who weren't fans of Dusty said that if you stopped short, they'd have to get a crowbar to dig Dusty out of your ass. Did you hear people say things like that Dusty was sucking up to the boss?
No, but he did in his own way. But and I let him. I mean, it's honestly, I hired and fired bookers, and that was my job. And
a lot of people thought that you were enamored with Dusty and just in awe of his presence, and perhaps as a result of that personal relationship, you weren't the best steward of the business.
I probably wasn't the best steward of the business, and I hired Dusty because he was creative. I wish Ric Flair had been capable of booking. I probably would have liked that a lot better, but that was not Ric Flair.
Yeah.
He couldn't book somebody else. He knew how to handle Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And I just, should have changed, and that just didn't.
Your brother did an interview once where he said Jimmy was snake bit by Dusty. Is that all right?
Snake bit?
I think the idea being you didn't feel like you could trust him anymore.
Towards the end, I don't think I could. Because I think he saw the end too, so therefore he reverted back to the old Dusty. I'm going to take care of myself. He wasn't booking a territory, he was booking himself.
I see. Let's talk about your other top star, Ric Flair. What's your relationship like with Rick here in '88? Was it on again, off again?
It was never off per se, but over the years we had learned to respect each other and like each other. Things were going down the tubes and he saw it, but I'd been loyal to him, and so he was being loyal to me. To a fault,
Absolutely. Rick had hard feelings with you for a while. He contends that Turner wouldn't sign a deal to buy your company unless he was under contract. And he believes you got him on paper for a deal for less money than it could have been. And he believes since you weren't going to be the one paying it anyway, that you knew you could have signed him to a bigger deal, but you did not. And he did interviews about this for years, saying he wouldn't forgive you for this. It feels like he's had a major life event since then, and he's moved on, and I'm glad to hear y'all are talking. But did you know he was upset with that contract back then?
No.
There was never a strain on the relationship as far as you knew.
He wasn't excited about it. I explained why and what. This is the way I can make you the most money in the long run. but I didn't know that he was upset about it.
It was mentioned to me that Turner essentially had almost like a punch list of items they needed to see happen on your end in order to consummate this deal. One of those being you didn't have a deal on paper with Flair and you needed one, right?
I don't remember per se. What they wanted was the ones we had under contract, they wanted to see.
Yeah. It's been framed in the newsletters basically that you were lied to, that you were told you're going to have X role within the wrestling, and then we roll past the first of the year and you find out Jim Herd's here, and it's been written that you flipped out a little bit at the Turner office.
I didn't flip out in the office. I just said, you don't want me, that's fine. You know, you let me know when you want me to show up. And they'd say, you know, come to Birmingham or whatever. But there was they gave me an office. You know, show up when you want to. We'll pay for the plane ticket. But, you know, it was like, you're out. And I may have pouted somewhere, but I didn't make any scenes because I knew there was nothing I could do.
Yeah.
You know?
Did it almost feel like a consolation prize? Okay, maybe I sold the company to Turner, but at least I'm still involved. But then when Herd comes in, it feels like wrestling's really slipped through your fingers.
Yeah, it was over. And it wasn't a good feeling. Jim Herd, I mean, I don't know how to describe a sudden stomach ache. It's almost like that. Just a gut punch.
His mere existence, or you just didn't like him?
I didn't like him, and I didn't like the way they handled it. And, you know, and I tried one time to explain why it wasn't going to work. Not that I was the right person to run it, because I'd already shown that, but I said, this guy, he doesn't know what he's doing. And so he, you know, if Dusty got in his ear or Rick got in his ear or whatever wrestler got in his ear, that's which way they went.